Today I wanted to try some tent glamping. So basically I wanted to set up a really nice area with a big tent and go camping with it. I've never done this before, I haven't really ever had a large tent, but I found one for dirt cheap, and so I thought I would set it up and see how it goes. I just put everything that I thought I might need in the car, and I am just about ready to head out. As you can see, my car is extremely full. It took me about 2 hours to load my car, but we'll see if it's worth it. I need to get up to the campsite because it's going to take me probably another 2 hours at least to unload my car and get everything set up. Like most camping trips that start in Seattle, this trip started off with an hour-long slog through extremely heavy Seattle traffic. Even in the middle of the day on a weekend, the traffic is absolutely terrible. But eventually, I made it out of the traffic and was free to continue up north on my journey to my campground. And like many trips that I've had through Western Washington, my trip came to another grinding halt about half an hour later with more extremely heavy traffic going through Everett and Marysville. Eventually, though, I managed to break free and head out through the countryside towards the mountains. I prefer going out this way for a variety of reasons, mostly because the roads are a lot more interesting to drive on, there's a lot less traffic, in fact there was almost no traffic out here, and it is a absolutely beautiful drive. I was headed for one of my favorite campgrounds for the spring and fall, up in the North Cascades National Park. I've spent many weekends out here, and this was the first weekend where there were supposed to be no reservations, and that basically means that the camping is free. Since this was the end of September, I figured that most people would be staying home at this point. This isn't the most popular national park, it's a little bit out of the way, and this particular campground isn't one of the more popular campgrounds for some reason. So when I arrived at the campground, I was surprised to see that all of the spaces were reserved, even though it was past the reservation season, and all of the spaces were also occupied. So that meant I had to find a backup plan very quickly and go find a new campground. I decided to try an area called Mountain Loop Highway, and this entire area has a lot of hiking trails. It's back in the National Forest, and I knew there were a lot of campgrounds along the river, but if those were all full, then there were almost certainly some Forest Service roads that had turnouts that would be absolutely perfect for camping. This area has a lot of campsites that are closed and a lot of very popular hiking trails, but for some reason a lot of people don't really camp out here that much anymore. And so I got really lucky, and there were actually several campsites along the river. After nearly 5 hours of driving, I did find a campsite, and it's actually a pretty decent one too. I was expecting I was going to have to go really deep into the forest, which I guess I am really deep into the forest, but I'm still on a relatively main road. But this campsite is really cool. It is right next to a river, and there's a couple of other campers around me, but not too bad. There's enough room for me to set up camp, but I don't know if I'm going to have time to fully set it up until tomorrow, which is kind of unfortunate because I also have to take it down tomorrow. But that's the way things go when you're camping at the end of summer. First up on my adventure, I'm putting up this large tent. This is actually like a 10 by 10 tent that you would see at like a farmer's market, something like that. But I think this will work really well for camping as well, so I thought I'd give it a try. I just finished setting up, and actually it didn't take that long to unpack and put everything together here. So let me show you what I have inside my tent. So you can see, first off, we have a nice string of USB lights. I moved my power station in here, and I have my piano set up because, of course, if you're out camping in the middle of the woods, you definitely need a piano. And then over here we have my oven and my cooking stuff. There's also, of course, a couple of microphones, and that is my audio interface, which of course I can't use because I forgot the cable. One thing you'll notice about this tent is that the ground is literally the ground. There is no floor for this tent, so this isn't really a four-season camping tent anyways. In fact, it's not even a camping tent, it's just a regular pop-up tent. Not great for sleeping in here, but that's okay because I brought my car. And inside my car, I have this nice cozy setup. I have my Hasley inflatable mattress, which was very comfortable. I have my sleeping bag and my refrigerator. And that's really it for my glamping setup. You can see it's pretty rudimentary compared to most people's glamping setups, although most people's glamping setups do not have a piano. But whatever the case, my car can't really hold any more anyways, so... And all of these things were actually repurposed from other projects, so this still made for a really fun glamping trip. I've always wondered what it was like to camp like this. I have never really had a reason to do it, but I can tell you from my experience today, it takes a lot of time loading and unloading the car, and there is a significant amount of setup time. The reasons I can see people might like doing this is, for one, if you just like setting things up and arranging things, it could be a lot of fun for you. If you're spending a lot of time in one location, I think this could be a good option for camping. And also, if you have several people to help set things up, even just another person would have cut the amount of setup and loading time in probably half. But anyways, I think we're going to play a little bit of piano and then head to bed. It's way past my bedtime as it is. Good morning and happy solstice. Fall is my favorite season for doing outdoor things and camping, going on road trips, everything. It's just so much more relaxed. There are a lot fewer people out and about, and the weather is absolutely perfect for being outdoors. One of the things I wanted to test today was this black bag. So this is a portable toilet. A lot of people have probably seen these on Amazon, and they aren't that much more expensive than a bucket. But they keep on coming out with fancier and fancier versions, and so this is actually supposed to be a pretty nice one. So let's pull it out and see what it looks like. So the lid has this nice mountain scenery on it, which is very nice. You can see it just opens up like that. It's just a regular toilet seat. And then on the side here, this actually comes with a toilet paper holder. So that's kind of nice. I don't have an entire roll of toilet paper with me, but it's always nice to have that feature anyways. And since we're glamping, I decided to bring out my nice stove and oven combination. I forgot to bring utensils for cooking on the stove, so we're going to use the oven. You know, I was thinking it was actually going to be really hard to heat this tent, and it probably isn't the most efficient way to heat the tent, but with my stove running, the tent is actually quite a lot warmer than it is outside. And considering there's no insulation on the walls, the ceiling, and we just have dirt for floor, that's pretty good. Now that I've had some food, I've just been out here outside watching the river. Always a nice thing to do. I've also been playing piano a bit this morning, this time with headphones on, just because I do have some neighbors a little ways away, but I don't want to disturb them. They might still be sleeping, who knows. I think I might go for a little bit of a walk down the highway here as well, just see what's down here. Well, people are starting to clear out of the campsites. I wish I could stay out here longer, but I really can't. With everything I have to pack up and dealing with traffic on the way back, I really need to leave in a few hours, so it's just enough time to put everything back into my car and head back home again. I'm guessing it'll take probably another couple hours to unpack my car. Part of the problem is that I have to split all my things between my apartment and my storage unit, so it takes a little while going back and forth between those two. So I don't know if glamping is worth it for just a few hours of entertainment. It was definitely worth it for the experience, but I don't know that I would do this regularly, not in this way anyways. Maybe if I had a long holiday weekend and I found somewhere where there weren't a ton of other people, I might consider doing this again, kind of like I am now, but I think I'll stick to my more minimalist car camping, and it gives a lot more options for parking, things like that. It took me about an hour and a half to clean everything up and stow it away, which is a long time, especially when you're doing it alone. But now I am headed back to civilization, and we'll see how long it takes to get back to my apartment and get everything unloaded. Even though tent camping may not be the right choice for me right now, I can definitely see the appeal to it, and especially after having done it now, I would actually consider doing it again, maybe in a different situation if I'm in a different point in my life. But for right now, I think I'll leave the tent camping to others.